When most Americans think of extreme geography, they think of Texas. The Lone Star State certainly has bragging rights. It's massive, it's diverse, it has deserts, mountains, and coastline. But if you thought Texas was extreme, wait until you dive into Alaska. Alaska isn't just America's largest state, it's in a category entirely by itself. We're talking about a place where glaciers the size of entire states slowly carve through mountain ranges, where volcanoes erupt with enough force to alter global weather patterns, and where wildlife roams across landscapes so vast and untouched that they look exactly as they did 10,000 years ago. This is true wilderness, on a scale that's almost incomprehensible. And today, we're counting down 50 insane geography facts about Alaska that will completely change how you see America's last frontier. Let's get started. Fact number 1. Alaska is bigger than you can possibly imagine. Alaska covers 665,384 square miles. To put that in perspective, you could fit Texas, California, and Montana inside Alaska and still have room left over. If Alaska were a country, it would be the 18th largest nation on Earth, bigger than Iran, bigger than Mongolia, bigger than Peru. Fact number 2. Alaska has more coastline than the entire rest of the United States combined. Alaska's coastline stretches for 6,640 miles. But here's where it gets truly insane. When you include all the islands, inlets, bays, and sounds, that number jumps to 33,904 miles of tidal shoreline. That's more coastline than all other U.S. states combined. You could walk the entire perimeter of the continental United States and still not match Alaska's coastal length. Fact number 3. Alaska has more than 3 million lakes. Most states brag about having a few thousand lakes. Alaska has over 3 million lakes larger than 5 acres. That's not counting the countless smaller ponds, tarns, and kettle lakes scattered across the landscape. If you visited one lake per day, it would take you over 8,200 years to see them all. Fact number 4. Only about 1/3 of Alaska is accessible by road. Despite being larger than Texas, California, and Montana combined, Alaska has only about 14,000 miles of paved and unpaved roads. The majority of the state, roughly 400,000 square miles, is completely roadless. Many communities can only be reached by plane, boat, or snow machine. Fact number 5. Alaska is so big, it spans 4 time zones. Technically, Alaska covers 4 time zones, though the state officially uses only 2. The Aleutian Islands stretch so far west that they actually enter the Eastern Hemisphere. You can watch the sunset in Alaska and be closer to Tokyo than to Miami. Fact number 6. If you split Alaska in half, Texas would become the 3rd largest state. This is the ultimate flex. Alaska is 2.5 times larger than Texas. Even if you literally cut Alaska in half, each piece would still be larger than Texas, making Texas the 3rd largest state in the nation. Fact number 7. Alaska has more wilderness area than the rest of the United States combined. Alaska contains 57.5 million acres of designated federal wilderness. That's 54% of all wilderness areas in the entire United States. These are places with no roads, no structures, no motorized vehicles, just pure, untouched nature. Fact number 8. The distance from Ketchikan to Barrow is farther than New York to Los Angeles. Alaska isn't just wide, it's ridiculously long. The distance from the southeastern tip of Alaska to the northernmost point is approximately 1,400 miles, which is farther than the distance between New York City and Los Angeles. Fact number 9. Alaska has 17 of the 20 highest peaks in the United States. When it comes to mountains, Alaska dominates. 17 of America's 20 highest mountains are in Alaska. Denali, at 20,310 feet, is the highest. But even Alaska's smaller mountains would dwarf most peaks in the lower 48. Fact number 10. Alaska is home to more active glaciers than anywhere else on Earth outside the polar regions. Alaska has approximately 100,000 glaciers, covering about 5% of the state's total area. That's roughly 29,000 square miles of ice. Some of these glaciers are larger than entire states in New England. Fact number 11. Alaska experiences the midnight sun and polar night. In Barrow, Alaska, the northernmost city in the United States, the sun doesn't set for 82 consecutive days during summer. Conversely, during winter, the sun doesn't rise above the horizon for 65 consecutive days. Imagine living in perpetual daylight or perpetual darkness for months at a time. Fact number 12. Alaska has recorded both the highest and lowest temperatures in U.S. history for a single state. Range. Alaska has seen temperatures as low as minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit in Prospect Creek and as high as 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Fort Yukon. That's a 180-degree temperature range, more extreme than any other state. Fact number 13. Some parts of Alaska get less precipitation than the Sahara Desert. While southeast Alaska is one of the wettest places in North America, parts of the Arctic receive less than 10 inches of precipitation annually. The North Slope is technically a polar desert, drier than many actual deserts. Fact number 14. Alaska's permafrost extends down to 2,000 feet in some locations. Permafrost, permanently frozen ground, covers about 80% of Alaska. In some areas, this frozen layer extends down over 2,000 feet below the surface and has been frozen for tens of thousands of years. Fact number 15. Alaska experiences approximately 55 earthquakes every single day. Alaska sits on the Ring of Fire and experiences more seismic activity than any other U.S. state. That's roughly 20,000 earthquakes per year, though most are too small to feel. But Alaska has also experienced 3 of the 6 largest earthquakes ever recorded in the United States. Fact number 16. The 1964 Alaska earthquake was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in North America. The Great Alaska Earthquake of March 27, 1964, registered 9.2 on the Richter scale. This megaquake lasted approximately 4.5 minutes, an eternity in earthquake terms, and was felt over an area of 500,000 square miles. Fact number 17. Alaska has more volcanoes than any other U.S. state. Alaska is home to over 130 volcanoes, and about 50 of them have been active within the last 200 years. That's more volcanic activity than Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, and California combined. Fact number 18. The 1912 Nova Rupta eruption was the largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century. When Nova Rupta erupted in 1912, it was 30 times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. The eruption ejected 3.1 cubic miles of material and could be heard 750 miles away. Ash fell as far away as Seattle, and the eruption created the Valley of 10,000 Smokes. Fact number 19. Alaska experiences auroras over 200 nights per year in some locations. The aurora borealis, northern lights, can be seen in Fairbanks on average 243 nights per year when skies are clear. This natural light show is created when solar particles collide with Earth's atmosphere, painting the sky in greens, purples, and reds. Fact number 20. Some Alaska glaciers move up to 200 feet per day. While most glaciers move inches per day, some of Alaska's tidewater glaciers surge at incredible speeds. The Hubbard Glacier, North America's largest tidewater glacier, has been measured moving up to 200 feet in a single day during surge events. Fact number 21. Alaska has more bald eagles than all other states combined. While the bald eagle is America's national symbol, about 30,000 bald eagles call Alaska home, roughly half the world's entire population. In some Alaska coastal communities, bald eagles are as common as pigeons. Fact number 22. Alaska is home to the largest bears on Earth. The Kodiak brown bear, found only on Alaska's Kodiak archipelago, is the largest bear subspecies on the planet. Adult males can weigh over 1,500 pounds and stand 10 feet tall when on their hind legs. These giants can run 35 miles per hour and have no natural predators. Fact number 23. Alaska's salmon runs are the largest in the world. Every summer, tens of millions of salmon return to Alaska's rivers to spawn. The Bristol Bay Sockeye Salmon Run alone can exceed 50 million fish. These runs support not just commercial fishing, but entire ecosystems. Bears, eagles, wolves, and even forests depend on returning salmon. Fact number 24. Alaska has caribou herds numbering in the hundreds of thousands. The western Arctic caribou herd alone numbers around 200,000 animals, making it one of the largest caribou herds on Earth. During migration, these herds travel over 3,000 miles annually, one of the longest land migrations of any terrestrial mammal. Fact number 25. Alaska is the only state where all three species of North American bears coexist. Black bears, brown bears, including grizzlies and Kodiak bears, and polar bears all roam Alaska. It's the only place in America where you can find all three species, each perfectly adapted to their specific ecosystems. Fact number 26. Alaska has more than 430 species of birds. Despite its harsh climate, Alaska hosts an incredible diversity of bird life. Over 430 species have been documented, and millions of migratory birds travel to Alaska each summer to breed in the long daylight hours. Fact number 27. Whales migrate to Alaska waters every summer in massive numbers. Humpback whales, gray whales, orcas, and even the endangered bowhead whale migrate to Alaska's nutrient-rich waters. Some humpback whales travel 3,000 miles from Hawaii just to feed in Alaska's productive seas. Fact number 28. Alaska has more than 40% of America's federally listed threatened and endangered species. From stellar sea lions to Cook Inlet beluga whales to spectacled eiders, Alaska is home to numerous species found nowhere else in the United States, many of which are fighting for survival. Fact number 29. Alaska's Tongass National Forest is the largest intact temperate rainforest in the world. Covering 16.7 million acres in southeast Alaska, the Tongass is the largest national forest in the United States and the world's largest remaining temperate rainforest. Some trees here are over 800 years old. Fact number 30. Alaska has mosquitoes the size of small birds, or so it seems. Okay, they're not actually that big, but Alaska's mosquitoes are legendary. In summer, swarms can be so thick they sound like a freight train, and they've been known to drive caribou herds to near madness. Some areas have mosquito populations exceeding billions of individuals. Fact number 31. Denali is still growing North America's tallest mountain. Denali, formerly Mount McKinley, is still rising. Tectonic forces continue to push the mountain upward at a rate of about 1 millimeter per year. In geological terms, Denali is a baby, only about 6 million years old. Fact number 32. Alaska has a glacier that's larger than the state of Rhode Island. The Bering Glacier is the largest glacier in North America, covering approximately 1,900 square miles, making it larger than Rhode Island. It's also one of the fastest moving glaciers, surging periodically at speeds up to 300 feet per day. Fact number 33. Alaska's glaciers contain enough water to supply New York City for over 10,000 years. The amount of fresh water locked in Alaska's glaciers is almost incomprehensible. Scientists estimate Alaska's glaciers contain approximately 175 cubic miles of water. If melted, this would provide enough water for New York City's entire population for more than 10,000 years. Fact number 34. The Aleutian Trench is one of the deepest places in the ocean. Just off Alaska's coast, the Aleutian Trench plunges to depths exceeding 26,000 feet, over 5 miles straight down. This underwater canyon is where the Pacific Plate subducts beneath the North American Plate, creating Alaska's volcanic activity. Fact number 35. Alaska has active mud volcanoes. Near Copper River, Alaska has several mud volcanoes, geological features that emit mud, water, and gases instead of lava. These strange formations create otherworldly landscapes that look more like alien planets than Earth. Fact number 36. Alaska's permafrost contains the frozen remains of Ice Age animals. Perfectly preserved remains of woolly mammoths, steppe bison, and even cave lions have been discovered in Alaska's permafrost. Some of these remains are over 30,000 years old, complete with skin, hair, and even stomach contents intact. Fact number 37. Alaska has naturally occurring hot springs throughout the state. Despite the cold climate, Alaska has over 100 known hot springs, where geothermally heated water bubbles up from deep underground. Some of these springs reach temperatures of 140 degrees Fahrenheit, creating steaming pools in frozen landscapes. Fact number 38. The Yukon River is the third longest river in North America. The Yukon River flows 1,980 miles from British Columbia through Alaska to the Bering Sea. During spring breakup, the river's ice creates massive ice jams that can cause catastrophic flooding. Fact number 39. Alaska has more than 3,000 islands. The Alexander Archipelago in southeast Alaska alone contains over 1,000 islands. The Aleutian chain stretches another 1,200 miles into the Pacific with over 300 volcanic islands. These islands support unique ecosystems and diverse wildlife. Fact number 40. Alaska sits on the boundary between two tectonic plates. The Pacific Plate is sliding northward under the North American Plate at a rate of about 2 inches per year. This collision creates Alaska's earthquakes, volcanoes, and mountain building processes that continue shaping the landscape today. Fact number 41. Alaska has the lowest population density of any U.S. state. With only 1.3 people per square mile, Alaska is by far the least densely populated state. In comparison, New Jersey has 1,207 people per square mile. You could give every person in Alaska 500 acres of land and still have land left over. Fact number 42. The capital city of Alaska cannot be reached by road. Juneau, Alaska's capital, is accessible only by boat or plane. There are no roads connecting it to the rest of North America. This makes Juneau unique among U.S. state capitals. Fact number 43. Alaska has the highest percentage of native population of any state. Approximately 15% of Alaska's population identifies as Alaska Native, representing over 200 federally recognized tribes. These communities maintain languages, traditions, and subsistence lifestyles that have existed for thousands of years. Approximately 15% of Alaska's population identifies as Alaska Native, representing over 200 federally recognized tribes. These communities maintain languages, traditions, and subsistence lifestyles that have existed for thousands of years. Fact number 44. The Alaska Highway wasn't completed until 1942. For most of American history, there was no road to Alaska at all. The Alaska Highway, also called the Alcan Highway, was built in just 8 months during World War II and remains one of the great engineering achievements of the 20th century. Fact number 45. Alaska has more pilots per capita than any other state. Because so many communities are roadless, Alaskans rely heavily on small aircraft. Alaska has approximately 1 pilot for every 58 residents, 6 times the national average. Many homes have their own airstrips instead of garages. Fact number 46. Alaska has its own time zone. Alaska Standard Time is 1 hour behind Pacific Time. When it's noon in New York, it's only 8 a.m. in Anchorage. The Aleutian Islands technically have their own time zone as well, Aleutian Time, though few people live there. Fact number 47. Alaska's Prudhoe Bay is the largest oil field in North America. Discovered in 1968, Prudhoe Bay has produced over 13 billion barrels of oil, making it the most productive oil field in North American history. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline carries this oil 800 miles from the Arctic to the port of Valdez. Fact number 48. Alaska has more than 100,000 glaciers, but only a few hundred have names. While scientists estimate Alaska has approximately 100,000 glaciers, only about 650 have official names. The rest remain unnamed and largely unexplored. Vast rivers of ice that have never felt a human footprint. Fact number 49. Alaska experiences ice fog so thick you can't see your hand in front of your face. When temperatures drop below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, moisture from cars, buildings, and even breathing creates ice fog, tiny suspended ice crystals that can reduce visibility to 0. In Fairbanks, this can happen multiple times each winter. Fact number 50. Alaska is home to North America's tallest coastal mountains. The St. Elias Mountains rise directly from sea level to over 18,000 feet in just 10 miles, creating some of the steepest relief on Earth. These mountains produce some of the world's largest non-polar glaciers and create weather systems so powerful they influence climate patterns across the entire Pacific. So there you have it. 50 insane geography facts about Alaska that prove this state operates on an entirely different scale than the rest of America. From glaciers larger than states to volcanoes that can change global weather, from wildlife populations that number in the millions to wilderness areas that dwarf entire countries, Alaska is truly America's last frontier.